And we're live. Let's start that intro.
Haters should be loved, we invited. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous. Why? Why is it like this? Instead of haters should be loved, we invited. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous.
Hello.
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 I have a mic.
We both have mics. Check us out.
Is the sound on though? That's the question.
I think, dare I say it,
If
we're
my phone
working.
if my phone starts to ring, I'll know immediately.
Hi, girls. Hi, Kat. We see you in the chat. We're here. I'm kind of amazed with myself. I could cry. We actually figured out the audio, and we are returned.
Ta-da. Oh,
Lovely. We've missed her, guys, haven't we? We've missed you. I've missed you, Lindsay. I needed you last week. If anyone caught last week, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Do
sorry.
not apologise. I watched it. It was great fun, and it's done really well with the views. So you did
Going.
something right, girl.
I appreciate it because if it had got like 12 views, I'd have just deleted it and been like, that week did not happen. Let's move on. So before we get into, because I want to hear all about the holiday, let's say what's on today's show. Because I think it's a show, it's a little bit more than a podcast. I think we've got a production going on. Especially now I've figured out the audio. Look at me. I'm like, I need to put my hands down.
Now we're on to the next stage of whooping podcast ass.
Amen. Hey, Luke. See you in the chat. Love hearts always to the chat. So this episode, we are going to be looking at, let's take you over. If you've not heard, if you've been under a rock, Leicester-based band Easy Life are being sued. being sand. Started off great. Easy Life band sued by EasyJet, holding company over its use of name. Now, there's much to go into there.
Yes.
And you're probably wondering, that's got nothing to do with ADHD. It's got everything to do with creativity.
Yes.
And our Leicester-based creativity.
Yeah.
We've got to fight for it. And there's a lot of good music that comes out of Leicester.
And Easy Life are amazing. I don't know whether you guys have heard of them or listened to their music regularly, but I've been following Easy Life since probably 2018 was when I first heard of them, and then saw them at Glastonbury in 2019.
So cool.
Yeah, so I'm fuming, gutted for them. We're going to get onto it.
We'll get onto it. Before we do that, let's find out about your holiday, because literally, we all wish we were there with you.
I wish it was all there. It was great. Lovely place and a really nice apartment. So
Nice
we'd have had lots of
apartment.
fun. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ring you. I don't know if you saw in the last episode. There was a part where I was like, do I ring her? And I was like, you know what? I can't bother you. I can't bother you while you're trying to rest. That's not fair on you. So fill us in, because I'm basically hearing for the first time too.
I'm trying to think where I was on the Wednesday night. I'm sure I was on the terrace, and I'm sure I remember saying to Lee something about it would have been live at that time, but we were pretty exhausted. I think I went there to rest, but I felt tired the whole time. I think there's something being by the sea, and we did a lot of walking, which is always good. I like being out and about, but it
Good for the soul.
Yeah, we did. We took advantage of the e-scooters, the electric scooters. So that was.
I've never been on an e-scooter.
I'd not until then. So the first kind of day that it was suggested by the lads, let's have a day on the scooters. Me and Jem were both a bit like, oh, wow, freaked out by the idea, kind of thing. But then as soon as we'd had a go, it was like and figured it out and stuff like that. It was wicked.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, the app, you can get an app on one of them, and then you get 30 minutes, so many passes, so much of it's covered. So once you do figure out and you get your head around it, because it is expensive if it starts charging you by the minute.
Right.
So, but if you can work out the app and stuff, which it did take us a little bit of time.
The app, everything has an app these days.
Yeah.
It's just, it half puts me off using it. But I'm going to be honest, the thing that puts me off using them the most is stacking it in front of everyone in a town centre or something. Like, What was it like danger-wise, risk-wise?
No,
Were you quite safe
yeah,
with
it
it?
felt really.
Just me.
That was my worry as well. You know, I'm going to wobble off or something. But as soon as you kind of kick off,
Okay.
it's absolutely fine. It starts going, and you just balance it. So you don't feel like you're going to wobble off. You don't. And like quite quickly, I'd got to the point where I could slow right down behind pedestrians, and like I'd got my balance absolutely sorted. So I really enjoyed them, and I can't wait to spot them because I have seen them around the cities around here. So as soon as I spot them again, I'll be like, right, we're taking advantage.
We need to film that.
One of the things, especially when I first saw them, I used to think, what's wrong with your legs? Why can't you walk? What it made me realise was you could explore further, because what we were using it for was to kind of get 30 minutes out of the bit where you already were, park them up somewhere, because then it stops running because you get them into one of the parking areas, and then you can explore that area and then come back on it. So it was kind of like in between having a taxi. It's not as much as having a taxi.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see what you mean. There's that in between a balance, the walking and the
like,
taxi.
we'd be like,
Like a hack.
say in the night time, we'd get back from having food and drinks or whatever, and it'd be like midnight, but you're not really ready for bed. So we'd just like jump, because the scooter park was only right outside. It was like, we'd just jump on there and whiz up the cliffside, sit on the top of the cliff for like 20 minutes, and then
Sounds lovely.
whiz back again. But if you'd had to have walked that, you just wouldn't have done it. You were stuck in the, a few streets away from where the beachfront started. So I'm completely converted in that respect. Like, that was a real good find.
Holiday hack, get yourself an e-scooter.
Yeah,
hire them, they're worth it.
Yeah, a bit like I say, just figure the apps out, figure out the deals, because they are expensive if you're paying by the minute.
And don't fall off.
The thing is though, just be careful. Like the lads were like full speed ahead downhill, it. Whereas if I was hitting a hill, I wasn't adding extra speed to that. I was guarding the brake just in case I needed it. But so you can be as crazy as you like on them things.
So is this the kind that you like stand on, or have you got like seats and
stuff?
stuff?
You just stand on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're really big. It's not like a small platform that you've got a balance on.
Because I saw some pictures and it looks like you're in like them old people traveling.
Yes.
I say old people, mobility scooters. I don't need to be ableist right now, but I couldn't stop laughing. You look like a pair of like elderly tourists. Like, let's go. And I was like,
so that was great fun as well. And we basically did that because it was so much cheaper than it was €35 for the day for that.
Wow.
So it was like, I think it was. I'm sure it was.
Right, I take it all back. I want one for now. I want for home. It was the double seating. Like you like a little train going along.
And the thing is, I'd spoken to a few people about hiring them, and the guy said they're going like hotcakes. He said never before have we had loads of young people wanting to do it. It's not trending kind of thing. And I said, I bet by next year everyone will be doing it. And it was funny because people seeing us as two pairs of young couples, like me and Jem on the back and the guys driving us, they were giggling and laughing as they watched us go by. And I was like, the thing is though, it'll make other people think, well, why not? I'm going to do it as well.
I almost want to find as many couples as I can, just so we can take one trip and just go around.
Well, it was great because it was like you had a little basket, so you could load it up with your drinks.
That's hilarious. Let's get it sorted. Off we go. One for the road. Ooh. That actually takes me into my next question. I feel like you're going to say something there.
I was going to say we also had a car, so it was like we did the e-scooters, the mobility scooters, and a car, so it was quite like a transport-driven.
Which was your favourite? If you had to just pick a favourite.
The e-scooter.
E-scooter. Sure, there you go. Sure. Get the e-scooter. I really thought it would be like the mobility thing.
I didn't actually have a go driving it. Lee drove it the whole time, and we did discuss swapping round. Because I was like, it's really cool being on the back and having your hands free and being able to like take it in, whereas he's obviously concentrating on the driving. So maybe the e-scooter, I felt free as a bird. I really enjoyed the kind of like
the full control,
a lot more speed with the e-scooter as well. Obviously, the mobility. I put a TikTok video up of a mobility scooter trip, and someone commented saying, "No helmets, all good fun until you cracked your schools open," or something like that.
How fast do they go?
But yeah, literally at 4 miles per hour. But the videos are sped up, so I've just commented back saying like the videos are really sped up. I was like, I know it did make me think like I've never seen an old person with a helmet on going on a mobility scooter.
That's so funny. Out of all of it, I'd understand. No, I wouldn't understand, but I could imagine there being complaints like, "Oh, wait for the disabled people to not be able to get around on their holiday." But their
That's
problem is like, no, you don't become disabled by using
yeah,
this,
yeah.
please. 4 mile per hour crash. That sounds like the slowest, most embarrassing death.
Correct.
To
Rolling
get
out.
yourself. I just like no, just kill me now.
But the thing is, I thought exactly the same as you, that the older or the less able might have been looking at us thinking, what the hell are you doing? So I was a bit embarrassed about that. But like I say, the amount of people that grinned and laughed, and like when I looked back at the footage, because I pretty much like filmed like every so often I would film a whole bit of it so that I could put this video together, because I thought I want to be able to watch that every
Definitely.
morning to combat the blues, like just going by the seaside. And when I watched it back, so many people are looking at the camera as I go by, really laughing or grinning. So it was quite nice. I think it was better received than I expected.
I can't think of anything funnier than like 15
A
couples
convoy.
just going
Yeah.
along like the front of a, like, you know, like with the pit, like what's it called? The seafront where you've got the sea there and all
like
the
the
bars
promenade
and so,
type
yeah,
thing.
just going past everything. And just so every bar's like,
Hey.
what on earth? It just doesn't stop.
Mobility scooter companies in Leicester, because I've done occupational therapy kind of work where I've had to make these links and get these things sorted out.
Yeah.
So shout us up, like if you're willing to
100%.
sponsor us with like a load of mobility scooters, we'll do some kind of event and it will promote promote the. I'm not
Definitely.
gonna swear while we're this early in, but yeah, promote your company. I'm up for that mobility scooter. Because the funny thing is, me and Lee were both talking about the fact that our grandparents are really reluctant to use mobility scooters,
Yeah.
even though it would benefit them, because
Yeah.
they're A, stubborn and B, proud, and they see it as a negative. And
Yeah.
there we were whizzing around on them having the time of our lives. So
Yeah.
like, for me, there might be a positive there to make them trend it.
100%. If we can make this more like appealing to the people that actually need them, that's a great win.
Yeah,
I love
exactly,
that.
exactly. So, because for me, it gave us that freedom. We were going much further than we would usually go. So and that's the reason I wanted my granddad to really take it on board, so that he could, because he used to be here, there, and everywhere. And now it's like his legs can't take him here, there, and everywhere. So
100%. Yeah, you just make it a cool, it's like an e-scooter. It's just another
I
type
mean,
of vehicle.
from the selfie view, it looks like a scooter at the front, but then obviously when you see it from the side, it's a double mobility scooter with a basket on the back.
And the basket. That's what I was going to say, because you said the basket with the drinks. This was your first holiday from not drinking this year. How did you do? Did you manage? Did you slip? Did you have a drink?
No, I didn't have a drink. I was fine, yeah. And no, but the thing is, I didn't even really have that. The one thing I struggled with was drinking lime Bacardi breezes, because I love them so much. But
just a little tempting. Just the smell, just that.
It was that realization that made in a glass bottle would have given me exactly the same effect. Because, and then I did say to Lee, I went, "Oh my God," I said, "I need to bring out a lime aid, basically, the little bottles in the shops," because I would buy that everywhere I went, the same way I did with lime breezer. So like lime Bacardi breezer, bring out a non-alcoholic version for me. I will buy it all.
I feel like we could make our own.
I feel like cloudy limeade type thing is what I was after.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, the taste of that got me. Like, as in, I was like, every time I watched him drinking it, I'm thinking, I want that taste. But it wasn't actually the alcohol thing that I struggled with. And if anything, watching the others drink kind of just made me so glad I wasn't drinking, because it just reminded me of so many scenarios that I didn't want to be in. Do you see what I mean?
Right, okay.
So they were drinking through it at some point. Oh, what a hideous horror. We all know what that's like, to drink through it. I've been there, and I'm just so glad I wasn't sat there doing it. I'm just sat there drinking my orange juice, having my ice cream, having the time of my life. I'm not having to drink through it. And why are you just still drinking through it? Just stop now. Like, end the cycle. But
so there was barely any temptation, because you're almost seeing
the negative.
They're making it really easy for you. Like, just being around a whole like resort or whatever, a party town with drunk people, you're just like, oh, you know what? I'm all right. I'm not even tempted a little bit to be like you guys.
Honestly, that was honestly what it's like. And then you could ask them as well. Like, there was one night where there was some cheesy music going on. I was like singing and dancing from my chair. And I think Lee said something like, "Oh, you'd love to go up and dance, wouldn't you? You'd be up there." But then he was like laughing. He went, "I dare you to go and dance." Like, and he didn't even have to finish his sentence. I was gone. I was up there.
I don't need a dare.
Yeah, well, it's like just dares me.
I'm
And
not.
So I was like boogieing just like for a giggle. So it's not like I missed out on anything by not drinking, because I'm still up for a laugh and stuff. And then there was one morning when there was these guys came and did, do you ever like, have you been like to a holiday resort where a group of acrobats, like gymnasts or something, will come past and they'll do a little show and then you give them money and then they move on and
like
do a little
street
show.
performer sort of
Yeah.
things,
So that was happening, and the guys, after they'd done this, well, as they were doing it, they started dancing towards me. And I was laughing, but I was looking behind me like, surely it's not me they're dancing towards. And Lee's going, "Oh, they're coming for you, mate, they're coming for you." And they were like, as in like, "Come and dance with us." So I got up and I was straight over. And I'm like in my sliders. It's the most embarrassing video. Like Lee took a
Oh
video
my
of me. I'm like
God.
trying to keep up with them, like, jumping around in sliders, in a bikini in sliders. And I don't need an ounce of alcohol to do any of that. So some of the conversations that I had and I have had around alcohol the last couple of weeks have been, I do need a drink to do those things though, and I get it.
Okay.
There's an extra layer of alcohol that I didn't need to give up, which was needing it to boost my confidence. I dare do it anyway. So it's kind of like, I get it. For other people, there is definitely this element of alcohol adds to their living experience.
Yeah,
because they dare do
100%.
things that they wouldn't have dared do.
Yeah, I had a lecturer tell me about someone that he used to work with, another colleague that was a lecturer, and he was one of the most like charismatic, like one of the lecturers that you wanted to have. He was like a performer on like in his lecture theatres. And he admitted that he had a drinking problem, that he'd been drinking on the job. He got help for it, he's within like the psychotherapy category. They're all like helping him. And he came back to teach and he couldn't do it. He just could not face a room of 50, 60, 70 people. And he just had to quit his job. It was either drink and alcoholism or teach. And he suddenly left like, what do I do with this? And
it's so sad.
I can't imagine that.
A lot of addiction and then alcoholism comes from these neurodivergent type brains where they're, got many reasons why they're shy or whatever. And then they need alcohol just to kind of give them that little boost. And it's a shame we've not got an actual medication that can kind of produce that effect, or that we've not found something that...
Self-compassion. I truly believe if you can get rid of that shame element.
Yeah, definitely. But even like, I'm just thinking of the lad that I support and I was with him earlier. He only has to have one beer and he becomes more chatter.
Yeah.
He just relaxes and he stops second guessing himself, stops wondering whether he should say that, whether everyone thinks he's weird, blah, blah, blah. All of that stops with a beer, and then he'll like relax. And it's like, I wish I could give him that effect. How do you bring... He's autistic. How do you bring those autistic... I'm clinging on to control so much because I'm so anxious, and I'm, and I know that a lot of therapy can help him, but alcohol does that just like that.
Compassion focused therapy sees like you've got your three emotional drives. So you've got the drive bit that gets you to achieve what you need to do. You've got the threat detection so that it keeps you safe. But then you've also got this self-soothing part, and that's the part where you're just supposed to be relaxed and you're just supposed to be okay with yourself. There's no need to want. There's no need to like be worried about anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, especially neurodivergents, will substitute this self-soothing for poor self-care and alcoholism, using drugs, using these means to quickly get that fix instead of learning about themselves and getting rid of that shame. That shame element is so crucial. I feel like I've been having this shame conversation for the past
forever.
Yeah, but more so in the last 4 months. I feel like everyone I've spoke to, I'm realizing this element of shame really controls their life and puts barriers up to them achieving stuff. So,
but also, what about the thrill? Because there's obviously all this shame side of things, but when I talk to him about having a beer, I know the bit he's talking about, and that is the bit that I worry after a year I'll try it and then I'll be like, oh my God, I've missed that when you have that beer and it first hits you. I don't
think I have that feeling from beer.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something I do have that feeling for.
Like wine or whatever, just alcohol.
No, just alcohol in general doesn't give me that.
Because I've always
heard people say it.
It's like a dopamine thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because for me, that was what alcohol always did. I'd be so excited about having a drink, and that first little bit, I'd be like, oh God, I love that feeling. And I get it when I talk to other people where they're like, oh God, I couldn't give it up because I love it. And I'm like, mate, I was that person. I was genuinely that person. But then they've got this other element of being shy also. So whereas I'm not actually shy, I'm a thrill seeker. So yeah, but then obviously the shyness does come from the shame and all the rest of it. But it's a sad one, isn't it? Because alcohol can potentially be used as a good time thing.
Yeah, as long as the body reacts well to it.
Yeah, and what I find though is that nobody really knows their limit. They always go beyond their limit, and it always goes wrong beyond that limit. So it's like a couple of drinks, people have a giggle. A few more drinks more than that, and people start taking things the wrong way, or mishearing things, or misjudging things, or making comments they wouldn't usually make, or whatever it may be. And think literally as a sober person, you watch it just start to fall apart, and you just think, and then you watch the misunderstandings happen, and you're like, whoa, 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 and you can't even firefight it because it happens too quick, and it's like, whoa.
Viewing these situations as a sober person, it's not just the holiday that you've dealt with this year. You've also been to multiple places that you would naturally have a drink within this culture. When you're looking at these people, what is it like looking from the outside?
That's how I feel, like an outsider.
Literally an outsider.
Yeah, I realised that on this holiday where I thought, I was actually reading a book, and there's a character in it that I absolutely love. She's an older lady, and I just love this character. She's not even the main character. It's the second one in the book that I've read featuring her. And she says that she's always been an outsider, and she's okay with that. That's a beautiful perspective as well as being 100%. Part of the inside. And it made me realise that I have actually always felt a bit of an outsider in most scenarios until I started to find my own clan that then becomes my, gang, as it were. Yeah. But I have always been on the outside. And I do feel that now as the sober person, but I like it because I like the feeling of being me and being happy with me. So it's like almost like I can turn up, observe, watch it, join in a bit, step back, go off, and still have had a great time.
100%. You're not dictated by how many drinks you get down or how expensive these drinks are going to be. Although non-alcoholic like mocktails and stuff like that, they're still really expensive.
Well, that was the trouble. Water for most of the holiday because they didn't even change the price between a mocktail and a cocktail. It was the same amount. I was like, no, I'm not paying that for some pineapple juice.
Oh God, yeah.
I've just noticed in the chat, look, cloudy limeade sounds perfect. We're getting on that.
Yeah, see, Nick's not a drinker either. He'd really appreciate the
cloudy limeade. It's got to be in a glass bottle because I think that was the element that I missed as well. The drinking out of a glass bottle.
I agree. See, I'm a fan of those short, long cans. Like a Red Bull type can. If something comes in that, you've got me. I don't know why.
Like when you do product design, that is obviously, they obviously take those things into account. No, what they think of me. Yeah. I can't remember where I was going with the non-alcoholic talk, but
don't ask me.
The other thing that I wanted to mention is interesting that I drank non-alcoholic beer, their version of. So it wasn't classed as non-alcoholic; it was classed as low alcohol. So it was less than 0.01%. So it was brewed obviously in a similar way or whatever. And within 2 days of drinking that, these bags under my eyes came back that I'd forgotten about, but there was a problem area last year and I hated them. And I remember that when I was at camping once, one of the girls that knows a lot about intolerances, she went, it's the alcohol. Because I'd spoke about, I just want to get rid of these. And she went, it's the alcohol causing that. I just can't remember now if it's the wheat in it or something like that. But 2 days back, I'd only had 4 or 5 of these non-alcoholic beers across the 2 days. Yeah, and something made all my eye, it's really strange. It's hard to describe, but it's when I go to take a photo and I'd be in it, I'd be like, eh, and I just knew immediately.
I know what you mean.
That's from the alcohol, these puffy eyes kind of thing.
I think it is that stereotypical aspect to someone who's a heavy drinker, isn't it? It is a facial feature that they do often have.
It just immediately made me I'm not even bothered about drinking the non-alcoholic version now. I'm just gonna stick to the water.
Give me water. 100%. I've just decided I'm not drinking any calories anymore. When there's stuff like Coke Zero, I'm obsessed with Coke Zero anyway, but there's these sugar-free alternatives that there's no excuse to be drinking a full fat Coke anymore. I just can't. I see
Yeah,
someone, I'm
see-
like, I just want to rip that out your hand.
See, I love a full fat Coke.
Don't get me wrong, I love a full
When
fat
I was on
Coke.
holiday, I'd say, "Oh, cola." Just now and again, I'd have a cola, and they'd be like, 0 or full fat, and I'm like, full fat, mate. I need this. I want the sugar. Like, that's what I'm having.
To be fair, yeah, you're not someone that really consumes a lot of sugar. You're not
Mm-mm.
someone that eats a lot of.
Well,
crap anyway.
I'm a purposeful eater, so I never eat something without having picked it or be eating it for a reason. If you see what I mean. So it's like when I was ordering that cola, I knew I'd had 6 waters before that, and that I wouldn't be having 50 more Cokes after it. If you see what I mean. So
Yeah, I'm not. I'm like, if I have that one full fat Coke again, then I'll be like, you know what? I don't like Coke Zero. And I'll be fully onto that, and then I'll be like, with all the other cakes and stuff that I eat. But
So I want to hear about what Sky News have got to report anyway,
shall
because
we dig in?
I'm almost getting into a good mood when I'm actually furious about this. So yeah, let's.
Oh, I'm just doing crazy stuff on that right now. Let's take you to that. Yeah, we're here. Okay, so if you haven't heard of the band Easy Life,
Leicester
where have you been?
repping.
They are a indie rock band from Leicester, and they've been doing extremely well, increasingly well for the last how many years?
I'd say the last 3 years or something. They've like really
Yeah.
kind of.
So 2017, I remember reading that they formed their band,
Yeah.
and forward to this year where they've played Leeds and Reading.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing on what?
and you were going to see them at Glastonbury,
I did see them at Glastonbury on the introducing stage.
and you were going to see them during
In-
COVID. Did you
Yeah,
say?
we'd got tickets to see them at the it's called something that means a circle or
Globe.
like, is it the Globe at Camden Market in
I know.
London?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Globe Theatre.
We'd got tickets to see them there, and we did still go and see them.
Oh.
In Leicester, but it kept
Oh,
getting
okay.
postponed, and it kept getting postponed, and then they managed to put the gig on still. So that was quite not recently, but 2 years ago. I better be able to find it on my Instagram because
Right.
it was me and Jem that went.
So they're not just some like little Leicester band that play in the shed or whatever every so often.
Not anymore. No, I mean when I first
They've made a name for themselves.
yeah when I first
their own name.
Yeah, when I was first introduced to them as a band, they were drinking in the pub there. Me and my friends were hanging out and stuff, and they were just literally like regular lads that were in a band.
Right. Yeah.
And my friend was like, I'd already seen them a couple of times, and then we went to Glastonbury together, and she was like, we went along, and so I think that was my first time seeing them, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my god! Now, I mean, I'd been listening to them on her playlist for a long time, but seeing them live was something else, like really good. And I've still got the squidgy lemon with like Easy Life. They were like throwing like lemons out and stuff. And me and Jem, I had pink lemonade hair, and she had orange hair, and that's one of their songs, like
very
Pink
cool.
Lemonade and OJ. So yeah, it was like, you know what I mean? We really enjoyed.
Really enjoyed.
Yeah, feel like they've got a place in our heart with them being from Leicester.
100%.
And stuff like that.
Their energy on stage. I mean,
Yeah,
I've been
it's
going
insane.
through their Instagram and stuff. They're just like, the crowd is insane. The energy they give, it just doesn't end. So props to these guys. They really are doing amazing things. But unfortunately, EasyJet, or the owner of EasyJet, has something to say about it.
This is going to damage EasyJet more than anything, I think.
Let's hope so. I mean, that would be really horrible. Obviously, don't hope that. Don't come for me, EasyJet.
Well, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. 100%.
So, in a filing submitted to the High Court seen by Sky News, easyGroup claims it has suffered and or is likely to suffer loss and damage as a result of Easy Life's name, as Easy Life is among the family brands. I mean, you can already see there, Easy Life, the way that it's written, and then here.
Yeah, completely different. And I had never, ever made this association before. Bear in mind, I fly a lot. I like to travel.
I've been on EasyJet a lot.
Yeah, and I've been watching Easy Life for years, and I never ever,
accidentally crossed the two.
Never thought about them in the same context.
100%.
Never linked them at all.
And there's
now
also
they'll never be unlinked. It's like,
And
what the hell have you done, like EasyJet? Like you've literally
100%.
now raised that connection. It's so strange.
So, alternative indie band Easy Life say they have been left virtually powerless as they face a lawsuit over their name by the holding group EasyJet, behind EasyJet, whose founders called the musicians brand thieves.
Thieves.
Does that not make you sick?
It makes me so angry.
Because you went out there and patented all this
It's like
IP.
what that is suggesting is that Easy Life thought, who can we attach? Whose brand can we steal?
Yeah.
Like we want to be an indie rock group. I know
Yeah.
what we'll do. We'll go to an airline and
That lets
take
you have a tiny little bag.
yeah, not even a luxury airline.
This much seating.
Yeah, like, and we'll rip off their brand for our indie rock band. I mean,
that will help us.
yeah, it just doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, it isn't true, as Judge Judy would say. Get Judge Judy on this.
This is what I mean. I almost got your gavel and your everything for this because I think this is a justice situation, right? And again, for our neurodivergence,
What do you think?
she's brought it with her. It's on her arm. It's a sense of justice that we just do not like. Anna, oi, oi, see you in the chat. So, yeah, Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. That they feel like they've been left hopeless because it's going to be a costly legal battle, isn't it?
100% against someone like EasyJet as well, which, by the way, shouldn't have that much money because they made a huge loss in 2022, from what I heard. Although
it must be because Easy Life have been being so misbehaved. That must be why they made that loss.
I'm sure Sir Stelios got his bonus though, so never mind. I'll get back to it. The critically acclaimed Leicester band, who formed in 2017, I was right, did my research, and have had 2 top 10 albums, say they have been forced to change their name or take up a costly legal battle which we could never afford, they said. Responding to a request from Sky News for comment, founder and chairman Sir Stelios, thieving brand thief dude, described, I just don't know how to pronounce that, that's my problem. Do you want to have a go?
No.
You don't deserve the respect on your name like that. Anyway, this guy, Stelios, sounds evil. It doesn't, he just sounds Greek. It makes me fancy a kebab. Described Easy Life frontman Murray Matravers. Is that, am I saying that right? Matravers. Screwing this up. Here we go. As a brand thief, he added his company as a long-established record to legally stopping brand thieves, and I'm confident we will stop. You may say that.
Do you know?
However,
yeah, go on.
There was a lawsuit filed in 2021, a very similar one, to another company called Easy Life. One word.
All right.
It was a high court ruling, and they lost.
Oh, brilliant. Well, have you heard that Easy Life? They've already lost against another company called Easy Life.
There is already precedent set for this. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say Easy Life should change their name to Hardjet. And forevermore link themselves to EasyJet. But yeah, like, you know, take the part, instead of the easy part, take the jet part, call themselves like Crap Jet or something.
You can have easy. Give me jet.
But yeah, and just be like, because then it'd be like absolutely taking the mickey. I would take all of this publicising, you know,
so funny.
Because they have got talent. So it's not like, it's like one of them. Millions of people are going to go, who is this band? And be like, wow, 100%. They're awesome. And I really hope that happens for you guys. You know, I hope this absolutely boosts you.
Me too. And I don't know if you know of Joe Lycett or not.
I've heard that name, yeah.
Hugo Boss. So a company's done this before where a beer brewing company was sued by Hugo Boss. Oh, I'll take the mirror. I can't believe I'm on this. They basically did exactly the same. Told them to change their name or they'd face legal action.
Yeah.
Hugo Boss being the fashion brand, and then also this other small brewery. Again, no one's confusing the two. It's very simple. Like, it's very obvious. So Joe Lycett on his program, Joe Lycett's Got Your Back, I think it was called. It was on Channel 4. He decided, just to annoy them, make a point, he changed his name by default to Hugo Boss.
So we change our names to EasyJet? Is this what you suggest?
Let's change our names to, I don't know.
Easy and Jet. Can I be Jet, please?
Crap Jet. I don't know. But yeah, I can't zoom in because I'm bad at technology. But this is the actual UK deed poll of him changing his name. He had to go through all his cards, all his details. He called his manager. That was like, oh my god. He called his mum. Had to break it to her, like, sorry, mum, changing the name you gave me at birth.
Yeah, because I just need to prove this point. I do
Yeah.
think it's rousing a little bit of memory now. I think I do vaguely remember that.
If anyone wants to go see it, I'm sure it'll be on Channel 4's On Demand. It's really, really funny. But I think it also sets a very cool precedent that these brands can't get away with this.
Yeah, I mean, when I was tutoring still, I registered the name Winstar for my Winstar tutoring.
Yeah.
And when I did that, there was already a company called Winstar Casinos. But because they were a gambling establishment and I was an education establishment, we had the same name, but it was okay because, like they said, you'll never cross. Yeah, you don't cross categories. You don't cross anything like that. So yeah, and the word easy is such a that word can't in itself be.
It's a very common.
Nobody is
English
associating that word because you use it so much.
You know, if it was filed with easy life being lower capital easy and then life being with a capital L and no space between, I'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe that's not allowed. But they don't have that. Their band name is two separate words.
Yeah.
That you can't.
They just want an easy life. They don't want to be sued by bloody EasyJet.
It's insane. And the post they shared, it broke my heart.
Yeah, it broke my heart as well.
So a band statement, okay, never imagined having to do this, but we've no choice but to address the situation we find ourselves in. X, leave me alone. As some of you have already discovered, we are being sued. EasyJet are suing us for being called Easy Life. They're forcing us to change our name or take up a costly legal battle which they could never afford. We've worked hard to establish our brand, and I'm certain in no way have we ever affected their business. And that's 100% sure. Although we find this whole situation hilarious, we are virtually powerless against a massive corporation. I don't really know what else to say. I will keep you lot updated. For those of you that brought a gig ticket and ended up on a budget flight to Tenerife, I apologise. For the rest of you, thank you so much for your support.
Must have been what happened to me. That's I ended up in Tenerife.
Oops.
So obviously I've been to see Easy Life and I've just been to Tenerife.
I know, and I mean, like,
do you know what?
No one's done this.
There must be a guy out there.
And if they have, you're welcome.
There must be a guy out there whose second name is Nair and his first name's Ryan, right? Nobody is getting on him.
I don't know if it's included in this thing, but we've had some funny retorts. Ryanair has sent a tweet making fun of their competitor, obviously.
Yeah.
And they've sent a tweet to Ryan Gosling saying, prepare the cash.
This is what we need. You know, just showing how ridiculous the whole thing is. And that at the end of the day, it's ridiculous. And yet it could absolutely the idea is to ruin Easy Life's hard work and all of that.
100%. Eat EasyJet. I can't seem to find the tweet now.
Fair play to him. That is yeah, Ryan Gosling.
So yeah, they've literally retweeted with the Ryan Gosling prep. Like, I love this. Before today, if someone had said Ryanair or EasyJet, I'd have been like, oh, neither are that great, but probably EasyJet. And now, no. Absolutely not. I'll take Ryan up on his air. Thank you very much.
How does it work in terms of because Easy Life are obviously worrying about not having the money in the first place for this battle, because as much as we're saying it's ridiculous, it may well be a case of that they choose not to fight it. But is it a case that they don't have to win it? They don't have to pay if they win?
So,
or they're going to have to find some cash in the first place?
It depends. I think basically on how you go through the judicial. I know that in America, if this was to happen, then you file a is it a counter slap? I think what it's called, anti-slap or something like that, which basically means that you pay our fees if we lose. But I've not seen any links yet for a GoFundMe to help them fight this, because if anyone does, comment,
crowdfunder or
send them
whatever.
to us, and we'll get this out there because they deserve all this help. I know they're with Island Records. I don't know how much they're able to help them, but I'm almost certain there's got to be some sort of
We've got
music industry person that will be willing to work pro bono. Do you know what I mean? Meaning
Yeah.
that whatever, if they do make something, if they do whatever, then they'll get some of that. But it's really worth looking into, and
Yeah.
I think it's getting the
attention
it
You
deserves.
get good.
Greg James has already made a joke today in between. He promoted one of their songs. He played it on the radio.
Oh, good.
But as he was announcing it, he was like, EasyJet. Easy Life by the, sorry,
Oh,
Easy Done.
no.
It was amazing. It was like, yes, Greg James, we appreciate you. Love Greg James.
It's actually that cringe factor that comes with it, isn't it? Where you just think this was the most ridiculous move that you could do. Because actually, one of the reasons that they're saying is because the lead singer swore on stage and was swigging whiskey.
Yes.
They are a rock band.
100%.
This is why we love them.
Obviously, this is a right-wing take on this.
I don't see this and then think, I'm never flying with that company again that's got a similar name. That's just not how it works.
Yeah. You see, he said something here, F the Tories, and it just doesn't put you in the right swing of things when it comes to the right-leaning agenda.
But then what is Stormzy said on the Glastonbury stage, didn't he?
What did he say?
F Boris or something like that, when he was like, there was something political that he said, and it's just like that's the commonly done thing by musicians across the ages.
100%. It's the way that this is written is just, I'm not even going to go into it.
Yeah,
it makes me feel sick.
Yeah, because they just
The way
talk
that
about
they-
trying to make out
got
that they
nothing to do
deserve
with
it
that.
or something.
Exactly. It's no different to when you talk about something going on about a woman and then go on to about her, like, you know, details of what she does in a relationship.
the fact
or
that she's had
got a kink or anything.
Yeah,
It's
she had
like
a fetish in her last
nothing to do with
relationship.
it. Or they do mother of two. What then? You never see father of two. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's bank fraud.
Father of 18 because he's like not kept track of how many kids he's got.
Father of 50. 100%. So yeah. Congrats, male, whoever they were.
Yeah, Mail Online. If there's any lawyers out there, this is what we would need to rally. It's kind of like
Yeah, this
there
is
needs
an
to be
IP
people-
thing. This seems like a pretty easy case. And I mean, I'm not a lawyer, which is why if
we
you
don't know
are,
what
if
we're
you know
talking about.
anything about this, contact Easy Life or contact us and we'll send you to Easy Life if Easy Life have any interest in answering our email, I suppose.
Lou's giggling about Easy Life, like Easy Life getting the big corporation shook. It's like, yeah, it is quite funny, isn't it? But then she's saying, hopefully this does work out in their favour and they just get huge, even more success out of it. And it's laughable in terms
100%.
of the excuses that EasyJet are giving.
Just a little like behind the scenes here. Up until this morning, this episode was going to be on the ick.
Yeah.
The phenomenon we all talk about in the modern times, the ick. And I saw this story and I've never heard of this band before. We're going to be completely honest. Now I've heard of them. I'm now doing an episode on it because it caught me so. And now I'm a fan. I've gone through all day researching them. This band is sick.
Yeah, they are.
They slap so hard. And this is just helping them get followers. I hope it is. And I'm hoping that's getting them the traction they need to be able to fight this because this statement broke my heart. It's horrible. I'll go at the end of it now. But they also posted another thing, which was
we hate
part of
seeing
this
that
tweet.
It's just seeing that underdog thing, isn't it, as well? I think that's what's got us feeling so passionate about it, where
David and Goliath.
yeah, we hate seeing where people have got money to throw around and it's not the right thing, but it's the thing that pays and that's why it wins. We like seeing that is just so enraging because it's always the kind of
100%.
the people that have like fought so hard to get where they've got that end up getting their stuff destroyed and everyone just moves on and that's the end of that.
Yeah. I can't quite find the thing now, but it proves that they got the IP for their name. Easy Life did a few years before the easyGroup umbrella had got all of these IP terms, and it just
that in itself,
it seems to be a real simple case here that just needs to be fought with someone that can stand up to financial muscle.
I feel like I could represent them. I've watched enough to to write the case.
You know what? I don't actually question you.
I'll get my gavel and my outfit back out. But
Let's get it. Let's do it.
it's clean cut, isn't it? Easy Life had that name before, and they're not in the same industry,
100.
and they don't use the same colours. There's nothing, and it's not the same word. There's so many points where it's like legally it doesn't stand up. Surely.
Doesn't make sense, guys.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. So,
Hey Tara, I love this. My timekeeping is terrible here.
Tara, you made
In
it.
fact, though,
That's the amazing thing.
I've not messaged you back, Taz, yet to find out who, but I know that she's had a tough day, so you are excused, my darling. Your timekeeping is absolutely fine. Oh, there's someone from Portugal. Yeah.
Beijingos? I think that's Beijingos. Kisses from the UK to Portugal. I've missed you this year, but I'm hoping to drag Lindsay at some point very soon. We'll try and get her there.
I was going to say to you about Portugal because Lee's got the terrible blues. I was like, going to say to him, like, well, maybe we'll say to Portugal.
Ask Joe, literally. Portugal during November, even up until like springtime, is still a gorgeous place to go to.
We'll see you in November.
See you there, Joe.
Oh yeah, and EasyJet, if you want to sponsor us the flights, mate, that'd be wicked.
Yeah, 100%. Beijingos, I was right. Although I feel like, is that congratulations? No, I'm not sure. I'm unsure.
I came back from holiday saying I'm gonna learn Spanish.
Every time I go to
Yeah.
Portugal, it gets stronger, and then I leave, and I'm like, oh, I don't even think I get the sound
Yeah,
properly now.
but that's
Go on, give me some Spanish.
I need to learn to roll my tongue.
That is not. They do that a lot of R in, don't they? So
Yeah, I feel like until I can roll my tongue, I won't be able to pronounce anything properly.
I remember Joe telling me that they can understand Spanish really well, but the Spanish don't necessarily understand them very well.
Okay. There is a slight crossover because when I did my teaching English as a foreign language, the TEFL course, I teamed up with one person. No, you had to write down what languages you already knew a bit of to do this like thing, and I'd put down Spanish, and then at first they were going to team me up with somebody, but then this guy, his family had got a place in Portugal, and he knew Portuguese, so the team does up because it was such a similar. It was quite similar. It was quite cool doing that crossover, yeah. And that's why I thought Spanish is a good one to learn because it's almost like a base. Because Italian's quite the similarities and crossovers.
They're all kind of like French. It's all based on Latin, isn't it? It's all got that original. Yeah. So there's going to be some crossover here or there, but
yes,
yeah. Oh, to the bine.
But yeah, so if anybody's got any tips on how to learn a language, because I have said this since I left school, because I did Spanish GCSE, and then I've said it every year that I've been on holiday since that I'm going to learn it.
The best way to learn it is to just go there. That's the best thing I've ever taught. Yeah. My stepdad he always tells me he went to like Beijing to work in like a factory for a few months, and he said by the end of the 3 months he was understanding what people were saying to him. He couldn't quite speak it, but he was like, I know what you just said.
See, where I could understand it. People were talking around me, and I was like,
"You were there for a while, right?"
Yeah, and it's like I realised I was understanding it, and but then it was so strange because you're getting it, but you can't reply.
I know what you mean.
It's really weird.
I can't imagine getting out of that stage where you can talk fluently. You know, where like my stepdad's Polish, sorry. Yeah. So, and he can just go in and out of it when he's translating for us. It's so strange. Same as Joe, who got fantastic English, but he used to work for P&O Ferries. So.
Oh my God! See,
you get your good.
Love to have.
How to learn a language at a country where almost everyone speaks English. 100%.
Steph can speak Polish. I forgot that.
Jak się masz? Dobrze, dziękuję. It makes me so embarrassed.
Yeah, that's anyway. Not speak. But that's the thing, isn't it? Where everyone does speak English, but we've not got that excuse in Leicester because we are
a very multi-diverse.
Yeah, in terms of languages, there's over 100 different languages in Leicester.
100%. Although that might make it harder.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as in, you could pick Gujarati, for example, that is broadly spoken across Leicester, and you could easily just speak in Gujarati and not 100%. English for a couple of months. So there isn't any excuse for us in some respects, because that was my other idea, was to learn like one of the languages based in Leicester, because it'd be so helpful.
There's a huge Portuguese settlement in Leicester.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
remember one of our friends from Portugal coming over here. My mum helped her sort of set herself up over here. She got over on the plane on her own, and by the time she'd got even seen my mum, she'd made a Portuguese friend in Mount Sorrel. My mum was like, I've lived in this village my whole life and I have no idea that there's, how have you managed to, and she met another person in Leicester, in this bus station, who was Portuguese. And I was like, what is it with you? She had like 3 jobs before she'd even seen my mum, just being offered to her. Oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? I was thinking,
it's energy though, that's your energy matching
100%.
before you've even got there.
Yeah. And she's, we love Yvonne. If Yvonne's watching this, I love you, Yvonne.
Oh. I feel like my brain isn't. Some people's brains seem so good at picking up language, and I just feel like that's not my brain. But is that me already being like manifesting it, that I'm not, you know what I mean? Saying, well, I can't do it. So
it's almost like, do you remember James Graham when he said, like, when someone says to him, oh God, I could never do what you do?
Yeah.
And he's almost like insulted by it, because he's like, well, I did. I put in the time, I put in the practice, effort, 100%.
And also,
like, you could do it too.
Before holiday, I took up embroidery, hadn't I? And I was like, I never thought I could do that 10 years ago. So never say never.
Exactly.
Because it can always.
I mean, you're currently learning how to drive a bus.
Just like, currently.
We need footage of that.
Well, see, that's another thing that I'm stressing about. I've come back off holiday and I'm like, take me back on holiday. It's like,
we come with you. Should we book some tickets to Easy Life and just end up in Tenerife? Like, whoops, slipped and I'm there.
Yeah, I meant to book a gig, but I'm now abroad. I'm going to sue EasyJet. It's such a similar name to a band. How confusing. But yeah, no, my provisional's still not come back, so I've got 1 week off in 2 weeks. That's the only time I can do my practical. And I need to pass my theory before my practical, and I need my provisional back before I can book my theory. So
that's you.
Everything is hanging on this goddamn provisional coming back. So literally, I've set my vision board today that it's going to be here before the weekend. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's all manifesting. I can already feel it. It's happening. It's
I'm
going to
book the theory the weekend for next week. Pass the theory. So by this time next week, hopefully I'll have passed the theory, or at least have booked it. And then next week I'll do the practical, and the following week I'll be a bus driver.
You don't hang about. I fully believe it. And you know what? I did exactly the same thing with my driving lessons. All I knew is that I needed to be passed by September when I was going to university, because I needed to drive to Derby. That's all I needed. And my test was booked for the 25th of August. In May, I contacted a claim to get my lessons, and I just wanted that full week block lesson or whatever. And I was like, look, I've got until the 25th of August. Like, if we can like learn and maybe fit another test in before that, whatever could happen, there might be like a cancellation. My first lesson was booked for a bank holiday, and I was already like, what? So I stood outside, and he never arrived. And he apologized. He ignored me for about 2 days, and then he got in touch with me saying that his grandma had died, and that nothing to do with it being a bank holiday, that he was the most unreliable guy in the world. And then he took me on one lesson, and he cut it short. It was just an hour. And then I didn't see him for months. He ghosted me for months, and it was getting nearer and nearer the time. Eventually, a week before the 25th, he was like, I've got a day free next Wednesday or whatever. Me and you, 8 hours in one day. It ended up being 9 hours. He literally picked me up. I was driving. I learnt to drive that day. My test was 2 days after. He picked me up for an hour before that. I went into my test, and I was like, I'm not passing. I was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. And when I got in, like, pulling into the test centre after doing my test, I was just waiting for the no, and he was like, congratulations. And I thought, I almost wanted to be like, are you sure? I'm taking it. I'm getting out of the car. He said, thank you. So, and I just thought, oh my God, he is the most annoying, but maybe the most genius driving instructor I've ever met. I was so thankful. I was like, genius, he did it. I won.
That is madness. That is intensive.
But that's what we need. That's what the ADHD brain needs. It doesn't need time to fester.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Kat's just saying about me being a visual learner, and like how well, because the theory test, you see me practicing it, and how well I am going through it. But all it is learning it to regurgitate it.
100%.
And that's,
You know this.
That's the thing that frustrates me more than anything.
You know this.
Can I just say, we are close to wrapping up, but I've just remembered something that I wanted to say earlier, which I'm not going to now. Not.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's go full screen. I think we need to. Okay.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to go into it, but as in, well, it's like a topic for another time because it was something that I should have got into and then completely forgot.
Okay.
But it was the whole neurodivergent brain on holiday, and
of course,
and also the couple that I was with, quite open about neurodivergency with them and stuff like that. So it's basically a group of neurodivergent people, which
a bag of cats.
Yeah, and it's one of them where it's kind of like you want to talk about that because
yes,
it can be so much fun and all the rest of it. But it was all for all of us found our own different bit stressful in terms of readjusting, being away from your comfort zone, being in somewhere new.
You don't all struggle in the exact same way at the same
but
time.
we're all having intense struggles for reasons, and even like the sensory thing. I was chatting to one of my students today because sand and the dislike of sand is such a common thing, but to the point where it can then get in the way of you wanting to have fun because you can't stand the thought of the sand then being and irritating you, and you know, and it just really got me thinking that the holiday experience is supposed to be so many things and it ends up not being those things. And actually that was one of the things that I certainly struggled with the most, in the terms of you've got this dream of what you expect, and then when things don't match up to the expectation, that's where I then fall apart sometimes, because I find it very hard to let go of how it should have been.
Yeah.
Especially when how it's turned out isn't good. You know, it's okay if
that
it's
level
turned
of
out,
expectation.
Yeah, and that really hurts because you're like, that how it should have been. It almost happened in your head, so your heart's breaking for like what you've lost.
I have that same. It's a different. I always think like I want to go on holiday with my partner, and we're in the water and we're splashing, and oh, it's so fun. Yeah. I've been on holiday with multiple partners. People once ended up like that. One's more into looking at fossils. The other one's like, I can't stay here. We go out and do something. There's never been a time where there's just been like, I want to do that. Dirty dancing thing. But you jump in the pool. I've never done the frolicking. I want to frolic.
Do you know what it is? I think it's because we're brought up on these fairy tales books, and real life just as
Instagram.
Yeah.
All these people are on holiday doing the dirty dancing thing. Why can't I do it? And it's like, because you're actually having fun. You're not trying to produce a bit of content, right?
Yeah.
I still want to do it. Are you listening?
Maybe next year, as holiday season approaches, we'll do a how to survive your holiday with ADHD. Because, 100%. Well, in fact, by then we'll hopefully have footage, because we're going to go to Portugal. We'll be by the end of the year. I'll be there tomorrow, okay?
If we could do that, would literally be the plan.
But yeah, like we could do like a bit of a feature on it, because it's a shame to. Our whole thing is we don't want neurodivergency to ruin.
Yeah, we don't have the reason to not go on holiday.
It could so easily get like that.
100%. And managing that holiday aspect. My partner's over fishing in France right now, and he's just not been very well. And I know that's an aspect of like you don't account for that on holiday. You're expected to do X, Y, and Z. None of it included being unwell.
Yeah, and being ill just takes everything. You just want to be at home.
And he's trying to weigh up like, do I just lie in my bed, just like sweating it out, or do I go and sit in the sun and actually try and do something? It's this type like I feel really sad for it.
And it's typical, isn't it? Why is it always the holiday that? Why is it we always feel like a holiday has been ruined?
You're like that. Of course it is, because it's the time I was preparing to relax and enjoy myself. Yeah. So of course.
Literally the first few days, everything we tried to do went wrong. We tried to hire scooters, it went wrong. We tried to do this, it went wrong. We all downloaded the apps for these certain scooters. Then there was only 2 of them and there was 4 of us. And it was every time something went wrong, one of us would lose it, and then the whole team would lose it. And it was like, in the end, it was like having to do that pep talk thing almost of like, right, come on, we need to stick together instead of all losing it. But it's because it's hot, emotions are running high. These are all the triggers for me anyway. You know, like these are the things I don't deal with well anyway. And then it's like if there's at least one other person in that group that's like that. So it was, it can be really, really hard work, but it doesn't have to ruin your holiday. That's
100%. If you've got any hacks or tips for traveling as a neurodivergent, get them in the comments now, and we can bring them up again when
Yeah,
it comes to the
because
episode.
nice thing, like
Or any
these,
suggestions we can test.
yeah, because these e-scooters, for example, were bloody brilliant.
I'm having a go.
But the amount of stress that came with it first, we nearly gave up so many times. And even when we'd done it, but then we got charged super amounts, you know, we nearly gave up. But then it was like we looked into it again and found out about these packages. And it's like we had to go through that. So we'd rather you guys just know how to use them now and not be stung the way we were.
We were the guinea pigs so that you could thrive. 100%. Well, I feel like that's us at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm really keen to see how this Easy Life thing pans out, and I hope we've raised a bit of awareness about it, and that everybody else is going to watch this like a hawk and follow Easy Life on Instagram, share all their posts, make some noise for them.
Yeah, get in contact with them if you're a lawyer or any.
Let's show them that they're not alone and that we can fight this. Whether we have to start a crowdfund or whatever it is, we can't allow it to happen, else otherwise that can just happen to any small brand.
100%, and we're not about that.
No,
we support our Leicester creatives.
Yeah,
and we're thanking you for joining us on this episode.
And it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back, Lindsay. We've missed you. I've missed you, Mike. Missed you. See, if you leave me to do that on my own, it's just a shame.
For log all the mistakes. You can make
just
mistakes, and I make them funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like. I don't look half as crap when you're not big in me. She's actually a hype man. That's the So yeah, more on travel hacks for being a neurodivergent. Support Easy Life. Don't support EasyJet. Go on Ryanair. Cheaper.
And always on time, and everybody claps when they land.
100%. I'm one of them people. I'm like, how do you do that?
I'm like, are we doing it or not? Because I know that some people want to punch people in the face for doing it, and I'm down with either. I'm like, I'm cool. But then as soon as everyone starts,
I don't want to be the leader here. Slow clap, trying to get it going.
Like, I'm not clapping really. Trying to kill that fly.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Right, I think that's enough. This is Lindsay.
And this is Steph.
We're a different human design, and this is a different podcast. See you next week. Good night and goodbye. Take the intro.
Why is it like this? Instead of hate, should we love, me and fight it? You don't agree and you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous. Why is it like this?